Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our Women's Advanced Bible Study Night, 22nd of August, 2024. We'll be dealing with Jubilees 29 and the Amorites. I got some more information on that, so let's talk about that tonight. And you can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at and examine. Okay, and if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Okay, and our hours of operation are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 7 to 9 Central Time p.m. And then we have our Men's Advanced Bible Study Night on Friday nights on Clubhouse. It's from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. And the channel and the room is called Non-Messianic Conversation. We have 2 Shabbat classes, one in the morning from 10 to 12 Central Time, that's a.m. Then we close the Shabbat out in the evenings, 6 to 7 p.m. Central Time. Okay. For those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was consist of our laws, our statutes, our way of life. Okay. Shalom and welcome to the channel. Welcome to our Women's Advanced Bible Study. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence for prayer, Psalms. We have some women's help. Then we go into our current events. We're going to need to know information. Then we'll open up for some Q&A and some dialogue. Then we'll deal with Jubilee 29. We read and break it down. Okay, this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts. And all that he's doing, bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Oh Lord, we come this day praising thee and worshiping thee with our might and our power and our great understanding. Oh Lord, the end times that you have foretold are upon us. Oh Lord, give us strength and wisdom to endure all that has been foretold. Oh Lord, we need you so very much in these latter days, and we will tarry and depend upon you, because there is none else besides you. Oh Lord, you are our deliverer and our redeemer. Peace be unto you. Okay, so with that being said, we'll read the Psalms.
Shalom, everyone. I'll be reading Psalms 11. In the Lord put I may trust. How say ye to my soul, flee as a bird to your mountain? For lo, the wicked bend their bow, they make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may purely shoot at the upright in heart. If the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold his eyelids. Try the children of men. 5. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hateth. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire, brimstone, and horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. For the righteous, the Lord loveth the righteousness. His contents doeth behold upright. I read 1 through 7 of Psalms 11, a time of refuge that I see. This is a time of refuge, of having being around the wicked and wanting the Lord of hosts to save them.
Okay, yeah. So verse 6 says, uh, upon the wicked shall he rain snares, fire, and brimstone, and a horrible tempest. This shall be portion of their cup. So a prime example of that is um, Solomon and Gomorrah. And so when you understand right here what's being said, this is what's coming also, because he changed not. Okay. Anybody else have anything on that?
Mm.
Okay. We go to our women's health moment.
Yes, sir. Shalom, everyone. Please know that the information that is shared is intended for general, informational, and educational purposes only and is not medical advice or recommended treatment. Tonight's discussion is on can you trust that organic label on your food? Once found only in health food stores, organic food is now a common feature at most grocery stores. So, what is organic? Foods produced without the use of artificial chemicals, hormones, antibiotics, and GMO. Organic foods are also free of artificial food additives such as artificial sweeteners, MSG, preservatives, coloring, and flavoring. With that being said, did you know that the U.S., particularly big organic farm produce retailers like Whole Foods, have been selling so called organic vegetables and fruits from countries like China and Turkey? This has become the norm since the demand for organic products has increased in the countries like the U.S., Europe, and Asia. Up to 80% of organic food eaten in the U.S. are imported from China and Turkey, two of the countries becoming popular for growing and exporting organic produce to countries like the U.S. Has China been growing organic produce according to the world's standards? Organic products from China can contain an unlimited number of heavy metals, even though there are certain rules about declaring produce as certified organic, which means no presence of herbicides, pesticides, heavy metals, and other dangerous toxins. The problem here is that there are no rules or there is a lack of rules regarding pollution and other environmental factors in China. China lacks in environmental regulations. Government departments and agencies in China are not operating properly. Herbs and supplements from China are often contaminated with lead. China suppliers have forged organic certification labels and other documents. The USDA released evidence of fake organic certificates made by a non certified Chinese company. Third party agencies are the ones certifying organic products in China. The agency certifying all the organic produce generated in China is the Chinese Organic Certification Center, better known as COFCC. However, it has been reported that they only inspect 30% of the produce. The rest are inspected by private third party firms. Even though all organic produce imported by the U.S. are certified by a USDA certifying agent, the USDA relies on hiring third party certifying agents in China. In theory, organic food sounds like a healthier choice when compared to non organic food. Less chemicals and additives sound like a no brainer. But is it worth the extra cost and shorter shelf life? The bottom line is that not all food labeled organic is actually organic. With the growing demand for organic food and the rising cost of organic certification, many food producers have sought out less expensive ways to label their products as organic without actually meeting the standards required for true organic certification. I will be reading Deuteronomy chapter 32, verses 39 through 43. A God of vengeance. 39. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. 41. If I with my glittering sword and my hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to mine enemies, and I will reward them that hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, and that with the blood of the slain and of the captives from the beginning of revenges upon the enemy. 43. Rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance to his adversaries, and will be merciful unto his land and to his people. Tonight's discussion was on, can you trust that organic label on your food? And I read Deuteronomy chapter 32, verses 39 through 43, a God of vengeance. Shalom, everyone.
Okay, appreciate that information. We go to our current event.
U.S. City has now imposed a lockdown, or what they are calling a voluntary lockdown or a curfew. Now, today is August 22nd, 2024. That is a key date. The reason why? This is not the COVID pandemic. We are not talking about Mpox here. This is a completely new virus. And some are saying this is deadlier than anything that we've seen. Now, I'm going to break this down in just a moment, but understand that this is where we are going. If we see a new virus pop up, the first thing that U.S. cities are thinking of is quarantining and lockdowns. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. Okay, let's dive right into it. What is this new virus, and which city has imposed this voluntary lockdown or curfew? Well, here we go. It's Massachusetts town imposes voluntary lockdown after dark as fears of incurable mosquito-borne infection grow. An incurable infection. You know why they say it's incurable? We do not have a vaccine for it. There's no medications for what we're going to discuss. Look at this. It says residents in Massachusetts, in a Massachusetts town, are being urged not to leave their homes after dark due to the spread. This thing will stop popping up. Due to the spread of a deadly mosquito-borne virus, says the Board of Health in Oxford, a city of 13,300 people, about 50 miles southwest of Boston, has set an outdoor curfew in hopes it will reduce the chances of people being bitten by mosquitoes which carry triple E, or the Eastern equine encephalitis. It comes after a resident was the first human to contract the rare and untreatable illness known as triple E domestically in nearly 4 years. Okay, what just happened? Well, here's what happened. One person in the town of Oxford, Massachusetts, a town of about 13,300 people, they have now contracted this rare and untreatable virus. That's the reason why this town, or the Board of Health in Oxford, is proposing a curfew. I want to read you a little bit of this, okay? Now, what's interesting about this is the death rate, okay? I want to read this to you. This is from the CDC website. Look at this. It's a little bit of the facts about Eastern equine encephalitis. It says Eastern equine encephalitis is caused by a virus spread to people through the bite of an infected mosquito. It is rare but serious disease. People living in areas where Eastern equine encephalitis virus circulates should protect themselves by preventing mosquito bites. Keep in mind, this is more common on the East Coast. However, it does not mean it can't spread from person on the East Coast to somebody over on the West Coast or in the Midwest, right? Now I want to read you a little bit of this overview. It says triple E virus is spread to people by the bite of an infected mosquito. Only a few cases are reported in the United States each year. Most cases occur in eastern or Gulf coast states. Although rare, triple E is very serious. Approximately 30% of people with triple E die, and many survivors have ongoing neurological problems. Symptoms of triple E can include fever, headache, vomiting, diarrhea, seizures, behavioral changes, and drowsiness. There are no vaccines to prevent or medicines to treat triple E. Okay, that's pretty serious. Now, I want to read you something else, though, because one of the things that, I read here is this, and this really stands out to me. Many survivors have ongoing neurological problems. So it's not long COVID, right? It's something completely different. And I want to touch on that. But keep in mind, one person has contracted this virus over in Oxford, Massachusetts. Now, just to give you a quick little update as to what's going on here, this is a curfew. It's called the dusk curfew, which falls around 8 p.m. in Massachusetts, is only a recommendation. It's not a rule, it's not a law, but town officials are hoping it will push people inside before peak mosquito hours, reducing risk of exposure. It says while not a requirement, the local school district will be enforcing the curfew, meaning after-school programs and sports may be canceled, ended early, or moved indoors, something many parents, students, and athletes are taking issue with. Okay, now let's break this down. So one person has contracted this virus. That's all it takes. One person. Now, I haven't read a lot about triple E as far as how it goes from one person to another. As of right now, I don't think there's any proof or any studies that have been done. Can we transmit it from one person to another? Okay, right now it's transmitted from a mosquito to a person. Okay, but here's where things get very serious. If one person has the illness, this virus, triple E, and a mosquito bites them and carries their blood to another person, does it infect that other person as well? And does that mosquito now become a carrier? Can go and infect many people. That's where we don't have there's not a lot of research there, or at least what I could find. Again, this article just came out today. All right, so I just wanted to share this with you because I know a lot of people are wondering, are lockdowns still a thing? They are. But what we have heard, and I talked to many people just this morning, and everyone's saying the same thing. Like, we are not going to come out, and states and cities are not going to mandate a lockdown. They're not going to say that you have to wear a mask. I don't even think I used to carry a mask around on my desk. I think I threw that away months ago. Right? Don't even have it anymore. Again, a mask mandate. People have a curfew. They're just going to change the verbiage. That's it. So it's not, we are mandating a lockdown. No. It's a
Okay, anybody have any comments on that? Hear anything about it? No comments? Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. I have something that is funny, but not funny, that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. The only reason why it's funny is because it goes back to what I continue to say, that the receipts are piling up. The evidence is piling up. It is piling up. It's like they have I can't help it. It's like they can't help it. And things are coming out and slipping. And again, more evidence to present to the courts of heaven. Before getting into this, I want you all to go ahead and share this broadcast. We are keeping our foot on the necks of evil. It's very, very important that we continue to do these exposés because unfortunately, too many of our people pretend like they don't know or act like they don't know what the heck's going on in this world. And it's kind of troubling for me to be so very clear and obvious with what is happening. And you have those who act as if they are completely blind, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Almost like they're stuck and trapped in the matrix, and they don't know how to get out. So anyway, I'm going to share this, and I want you all to share it as well. This is some interesting stuff I'm going to be showing you. But this is what's happening in this country. We already know what folk have on their minds. We already know what they have on their minds. What they have on their minds is that they're going to continue to do things to so-called black folk and just get away with it. No one's going to challenge anything. No one's going to say anything. No one's going to do anything. But that is not the case these days. That is not the case. The truth is coming out more and more, and many of these people are starting to they're really starting to lose it. You're going to be able to see, after this man says what he says, you're going to be able to see that he caught himself and it looked like he began to even choke on his words. Like, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I said that. That's the look it seems like he had on his face to me. Now I'm going to show this to you all in just a moment here. I just want to be able to interact with you all afterward in the live chat after sharing this major mess up. Oh my goodness. We didn't really need this guy to reveal to us the heart of America and the West. We already knew it. It's already very clear to us. But I love it when they say the quiet parts out loud. I love when they slip up and they say these things that prove our point. Just like Hashatan the devil is the accuser of the brethren, going before the throne, accusing us for any and everything. Let me tell y'all something. That's what we've got to do too. We've got to bombard heaven. We've got to bombard heaven with our receipts as well. Let our cries be lifted up into heaven. Let our tears be lifted up into heaven. Let our requests, our prayers, up into heaven. Okay? So anyway, I want to go ahead and share this with you all. I'm going to share this with you all. This very, very tripped out to me. It's funny in a sense, but it's not funny. The reason why I say it's funny is because you just exposed the rottenness that exists in the hearts of people like you. Okay? That's why it's funny. But it's not funny because they have been doing this stuff for so long and they still feel the need to try to pull the wool over our eyes and bamboozle us and try to trick us with words. Right? On the surface, you may say, oh, they want to go and help Africa. Well, trust and believe that there is no help that these people are trying to give to the people of Africa. This video right here truly exposes the utter deplorable wickedness. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? It exposes the utter wickedness that exists in their hearts and the disdain they have for African people. Well, anyway, go ahead and take a listen at this, family. Listen at this mess. And of course, you know, I will be right back.
How can we help foster the public-private partnerships, bringing American capital and expertise and standards to Africa so that we can keep exploiting, so that we can exploring where we can get these minerals.
Feeling Claritin Clear is like
I'm going to play that again for the people in the back. I'm going to play it one more time, y'all. For the people in the back who may not have heard it. Take a listen.
How can we help foster the public-private partnerships, bring American capital and expertise and standards to Africa so that we can keep exploiting, so that we can exploring where we can get these minerals.
Did y'all notice that dude started to choke at the end? Did you all notice that he started to choke? He couldn't even keep his words together. He caught himself. That look on his face told it all. He told the truth without even trying. See, the problem is people lie so much. First, they're lying about bringing. First, it jumped out at me that they said their expertise. Your expertise? See, they believe themselves to be the experts in everything. The experts. And then they say that they want to bring their standards. That's the other problem. They think they are the standard of right and righteousness in everything. Aurelia in the chat says that it looks like he puts his colonizing foot in his mouth. That's right, beloved. That's right, he did. That's exactly what he did. This is why he choked afterward. He choked afterward because he caught himself. Now, behind closed doors, they say these things, they talk and they plan and they plot, right? They do all of these things. But then when they come before the cameras, oh, we got to film the meeting. This is what we're discussing. This is the part that we're going to talk out loud. But something that they said behind closed doors before the cameras were rolling actually slipped out of his mouth. He said, oh my goodness, I forgot that this part was being filmed. So yes, indeed, he did say the quiet parts out loud, the part that wasn't supposed to be heard. This is what they have been doing to us for so very long. That is just starting to roll off the tongue now. I feel like there are spirits nudging them at this point, causing them to tell on themselves. That was an admission.
Okay, any comments on that?
With technology so working so fast today, before you can correct anything, it's already out and about. So once he realized what he had said, he wanted to clear it up, but it was too late.
Right. It's already on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
You got something? Check this out. This is need to know information.
Riots, Africans are coming back to the continent in droves. A
Another
viral
sign right
video
here.
showed Africans in airports just lining up to run away from these European countries. Watch this clip, we'll come back and discuss.
Yeah, just last year they was running out of Africa, running to these European countries. Now they're filling up the airports, coming back home.
I guess they're starting to realize there's no place like home. It's evident that these people don't want them there, right? Although they have every right to be there, they have every right to work and provide for their families. This is the reality right now. The diaspora is treated like they're not human beings. They are afraid to leave their house. They're afraid to go to work because of this racist people. And so if you have a home that you can run to, why not? Some people were saying that this is being a coward. What do you mean? Everyone has a choice. If someone believes that they'll be better off going back home, so be it, even though temporary or not, it's their choice. But at the end of the day, the main thing that I want us to talk about and discuss is why don't we stay as Africans in the continent, in our own respective countries, and build our countries? Why don't we focus on sharing our skill set, like this diaspora that are flocking back to Africa? What skills are they bringing? What money, what capital? Why can't we work together to better our situation? If our home is set up and we have everything at home, why in the world would we want to go to these racist countries and get discriminated against, disrespected, insulted? We've covered the stories. They were burning their cars, they were going to work and hurting them, they were destroying African owned businesses. Imagine all the heartache that they have to go through, all the money that they lost. This is no joke, this is their livelihood. And most of them, they were born and raised there, they're grown, all they know is that. So it's extremely hard for them now to uproot. It's understandable. But those that can't move, why not? You see the possibilities, you see the opportunities Africa has to offer. The white man sees it. How come our own people don't see it? We need to start to realize there's a reason why all these multinationals and companies and countries are fighting for Africa. There's a reason, and the reason behind it is not because they're good people, they're good nations. It's because they want to make money off of us. It's because they want to take something that we have. We have something to offer. It's clear, but we might not have everything, like the skill sets right now, or the technical aspect of things. We might learn the theories. Unfortunately, in Africa, most universities, by the way, systematically, they're there to teach us theories. We're not even practicing the practical and technical aspect of things. But maybe in the diaspora, the people that are flocking back, they have this advantage over us. Why not come put it together? We have the youth, we have the mind, we have the population. Why don't we work together and better our homes so that we don't face that when we go out there? The Chinese people are getting respect because they built their own country. Why can't we do the same? I think it's about time that we realize the grass is not going to be greener on the other side. We work, we plant where we are to make it greener. That's my opinion on that. But good for the Africans that made it back home. Welcome home. I am Ungid Zalalem. I'll see you on the next one.
Okay, any comments on
The
that?
sign drive is here. Get this ultra low.
No home. No
Yeah,
place.
like I said,
Yeah.
hand of the Lord, gearing up for what he knows was getting ready to happen. He said it in the last days, everybody was going to flee back to their land, their own lands. He's going to cause them to.
Right. I was thinking about Ezekiel 39.
So,
Let me get there. Ezekiel 39. I'll start with 27. When I have brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their enemies' land, and I am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations. 28. Then shall they know that I am the Lord their God, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there.
okay. It sounds like prophecy to me. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so with that being said, I'll open it up for some Q&A, comments. Anybody have any questions, comments, dialogue about anything that they came across in their studies? No questions? Okay.
Versus sorority, the Alpha Kappa Alpha, also known as AKAs, have gotten together and put a PAC, a political action committee, together. Now their goal is to help get her into the White House by raising funds, having boots on
I already said this is going to happen.
The ground.
Here we go.
They are going to mobilize suburban and middle class Black voters, get them to the polls to get their girl into the White House. Now, the AKAs are a part of the Divine Nine, which is 9 sororities and fraternities from HBCUs, historical Black colleges and universities, right? And their presidents decided that, hey, Since Kamala is now at the top of the ticket, we need to do all we can to get her into office. And as hard as they are working to get her into office, the harder we who are saying we need Kamala to deliver something specifically for us, we need to work just that much harder, right? They're going to do everything they can because I get it from their perspective. She is a part of them. She is, part of the Divine Nine. So that's a flex for them because that's not a flex for the rest of us because Kamala Harris has told us she's not going to do anything for Black people specifically. No. Will she do things for her people? Yeah. We know that the Biden administration and Trump, too, let's keep the buck, they've given money to HBCUs. But there's a lot of us who did not go to HBCUs, so that doesn't benefit us at all. And I'm sure if she goes to the White House as a president, she will do more for her homies in the Divine Nine. What about the rest of us? What do we get? So that's a flex for them. Good on you all. You guys are putting together this political action committee to get her in there. But the rest of us is like, no, we're not sending her to the White House unless she's going to send us a check or she's going to send us a hate crime bill. She's going to get in there and do a real police reform act, not that watered down George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. We want something too. So y'all don't get mad at us because, as it said, y'all only about the business of suburban and middle class Black voters, not everybody else. So that means everybody else just ignore y'all and not pay attention to y'all. And the other thing is y'all sure know how to raise money to get Kamala, a Black woman, so she says, in the White House, but y'all HBCUs is always begging for money. What kind of sense does that make? Y'all got all that money for one so-called Black woman, but y'all schools be struggling. Like her alma mater of Howard. Y'all remember not too long ago, they had rats, roaches, mold, a whole host of things going on up in there. Why y'all didn't get a pack together for that? I'm just asking questions. So anyway, y'all tell me what you think of that. And for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel.
Okay. Any comments? Questions on that?
I think with that, Brother Leonard, we just really have to stay alert because, like she said, she don't already said that she's not
Shalom.
going to do anything that benefits Black people. But there has been things that they have done to benefit Asians, the Jews, and everybody else except for Black people. So we have to remember that she may do something for them. I don't know. But when it comes to us, we always seem to be at the very, very bottom. And they give us little bills that they pass, like they said, the George Floyd Act, things like that. But nothing, that really makes a difference for us.
Right. Exactly. That's the norm. Obama did the same thing.
Yes, sir. They hype you up thinking they're going to do something for us once they get in there, and they have shown us each and every time they do nothing for us. And believe me, when she said that, she meant that.
Okay, somebody else? Okay, so with that being said, nobody have any more comments. We're gonna go to our topic for discussion for this class, and it's Amorites and Jubilees, chapter 29. So I was reading that because I was bouncing off of the channel I told y'all about the other day, the one about Captor and the Giants and all that. I can't think of the name of it. I think it's Travel. I'll find it in a minute. But anyway, I was listening to a video they had and they referenced Jubilee 29, right? So I went back and I ended up rereading that, and it's like, wow, it was crazy. So anyway, I'm gonna read it. It's 29. It says, well, let me see how they did it. It started at verse 9, reading, but I'm gonna start at the chapter 1. I mean, verse 1. It says it happened when Rachel had given birth to Joseph that Laban went to shear sheep, for they were a distance from him a 3 days journey. Jacob saw that Laban was going to shear his sheep, and Jacob called Leah and Rachel and spake sweetly to them in order to convince them to come with him to the land of Canaan. For he told them how he had seen everything in a dream, all that God had spoken to him that he should return to his father's house. And they said, to every place where you go, we will go with you. And Jacob blessed the God of Isaac, his father, and the God of Abraham, his father's father. And he arose and placed his wife and his children on donkeys, and took all his possessions, and crossed the river, and came to the land of Gilead. And Jacob hid his intention from Laban, and did not tell him. And in the 7th year of the 4th week, Jacob turned his face toward Gilead in the 1st month, on the 21st of it. And Laban pursued and overtook Jacob in the mountains of Gilead in the 3rd month, on the 13th of it. And the Lord did not permit him to injure Jacob, for he appeared to him in a dream by night. Okay. And Laban spake unto Jacob on the 15th of those days. Jacob made a feast for Laban and for all who came with him. And Jacob swore to Laban that day, and Laban also swore to Jacob that neither should cross the mountains of Gilead to do evil to the other. He made a heap of stone for a witness there. Wherefore the name of the place is called the heap of witness after this heap. So that was what I read was Jubilees 29, 1 through 8. So I'm gonna get to the point, but it's what I'm reading while I'm reading this. So what you have to understand before I go any further is that in the book of Jubilees, I mentioned this before in the previous videos. In the book of Jubilees, the angels themselves are telling you the story. That's why the time is kept, and by the angels and by Lord of hosts and Yahweh, time is kept by Jubilees. That's why this book is called Jubilees. So what's a Jubilee? 7 weeks. A year's times 7 is 49. And the 50th year is the Jubilee. So that's how they keep time in heaven, is by Jubilee. So angels are telling their version of the story of what happened. Okay, so keep that in mind. So now we're dealing with the Amorites, the history of the Amorites. It starts right here in verse 9. It says Jubilee 29 and 9. But before they used to call the land of Gilead, which I didn't know this is one reason I'm talking about it. Before they called the land of Gilead the land of Rephaim. So before they called it Gilead, they called it the land of Rephaim. So what is Rephaim? I was telling you, those are the long-necked giants. They got a real long, extremely long neck. That's who the Rephaim are. And those giants hated man, and specifically Israelites. They hated Israelites. And so to give you a little brief history on, go back to King Tut and Akhenaten and a couple of those dynasties, this is where they came from. They had a long necks too. They was what they call a cut off of these Rephaim, because the Rephaim slept with a woman and got a baby. And that's where you get King Tut and Akhenaten, but you had men all around Egypt that had that. They had a long neck, extremely long neck. It came from these Rephaim. They hated Israelites. They say the Rephaim were born giants whose height was 10, 9, 8, down to 7 cubits, right? Their dwelling place, check it out. Their dwelling place was from the land of the children of Ammon. Let that front make. So their dwelling place was from the land of children of Ammon to Mount Hermon. So you should know what Mount Hermon is. Mount Hermon is where the 200 angels came down from heaven in the book of Enoch. They came down from heaven and they came on the summit. They landed on the summit in Mount Hermon, right? And that's where these giants come from, okay? And the seat of their kingdom was Kernom and Asherah and Edra and Meshach and Orion, beyond, okay? Then in verse 11, the Lord destroyed them. Check this out. This is what it jumped out the page on me. It says, the Lord destroyed them because of the evil of their deeds. The Lord destroyed them because of the evil of their deeds, for they were more malevolent, and the Amorites were wicked and sinful. There is no people today which has committed the full range of their sins in their lives on the earth or was shortened. So I want to go into this right here. So we know in chapter 12 of Genesis that the Lord came and appeared. The Lord appeared to Abraham. Okay. The Lord appeared to let me see what was that. I lost my train of thought. I'm trying to get it back. And the Amorites were wicked and sinful. There is no people today which committed the full range of their sins. Okay, so yeah, if you go back to Genesis chapter 12, the Lord angel, the mortal host came down to deal with Abraham. He wanted to take Abraham from Ur of the Chaldeans, right, back to their homeland where they came from to the land of Canaan, because when Noah got off the boat and he allotted the land out to them, he gave the land of Canaan. He gave it to Shem. But when Canaan was on his way to his land, which was over where the Europeans are at today, he came and he viewed the land that was given to Shem, and he occupied it. He stole it. So when Shem got there, he had already occupied it. That's what put Shem down in the land of Ur, the Chaldeans, down in Mesopotamia. They had been displaced by the Canaanites. So when the Lord of hosts appeared to Abraham in Genesis chapter 12, he's only correcting. I talked about this before. He's only correcting a wrong that had happened, a previous wrong. So he's bringing Abraham back to the land of Canaan for Abraham to subdue it. So this is my point right here. I'm gonna read verse 11 again. It says, "The Lord destroyed them, right, because of the evil of their deeds, for they were malevolent, and the Amorites were wicked and sinful. There is no people today which has committed the full range of their sins and their life on the earth or shortened," right? So what they mean by shortened, like I said before, this justify what I've been saying. Genesis 15. People read Genesis 15, they apply it to the transatlantic slave trade. So right here, we can see when Abraham came into the land. We're going to see this later on. But if you've been on Prophets of Awakening for a while, you should already know this. But when Abraham came into the land, the Amorites was there. So we know why the Most High hates them, because they're so wicked and they hate the Israelites. They're enemies of the Israelites. So what he told Abraham was, you're going to die, right? And that your children are going to go into captivity. To where? Egypt. And when they come back, in the fourth generation, they're going to come back to the land. They came out. He went there and delivered them out of Egypt. They came back. Joshua, Moses, Caleb, they got rid of the Amorites. So 400 years ain't got nothing to do with no America. That's right. This is an example right here. When they came out of the land, when they came out of Egypt, That's when they destroyed the Amorites. So when we read that verse again, the Lord destroyed them because of the evil of their deeds, for they were malevolent, and the Amorites were wicked and sinful. There is no people today who has committed the range of their sins, and their life on the earth was shortened. So how did he shorten it? Moses, Joshua, Caleb, when they came out of Egypt. Okay, anyway, 12. Jacob sent Laban away, and he departed into Mesopotamia, the land of the east, and Jacob returned to the land of Gilead, right? He passed over Jabbok in the 9th month, on the 11th of it, on the day of on that day Esau his brother came to him, and he was reconciled to him, and departed from him to the land of Seir, where Jacob dwelt in tents. Right? Okay. In the first year of the 5th week, in this jubilee, he crossed the Jordan and dwelt beyond Jordan. He pastured his sheep from the sea of the heap of Bashan to Dothan, and to the forest of the Archibald. 15. He sent his father Isaac all his possessions, such as clothing, food, and meat, and drink, and milk, and butter, and cheese, and some dates of the valley. 4 times a year. So this is something that need to be known, right? So when Jacob was away, when he fled from Esau, after he got the blessing, he was continuously sending supplies back to his mama and his daddy, right here. It says that 4 times a year, he sent gifts to his mother, Rebecca, who was living in the Tower of Abraham. So I recommend people do the research on this Tower of Abraham. Say, Rebecca, who was living in the Tower of Abraham, he sent the gifts between the times of the months, between plowing and reaping, and between autumn and the rainy season, and between winter and spring. For Isaac had returned from the well of oath. Here we go, right here. This the well. Question was asked about it last week, I think. The well of oath. That's where he made the oath with Amalek at the well, with the 7 huge lambs, right? Okay. And gone up to the tower of his father Abraham, and he dwelled there apart from his son Esau. In the days when Jacob went to Mesopotamia, Esau took to himself a wife, Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, and he gathered together all the flocks of his father and his wives, and he went up to dwell at Mount Seir, and left Isaac, his father, at the well of oath alone. And Isaac went up from the well of oath and dwelt in the tower of Abraham, his father, on the mountain of Hebron. And that is where Jacob sent all that he did. He did send to his father and his mother from time to time all they needed, and they blessed Jacob with all their heart and with all their soul. So let's connect these dots right here, right quick. So it says 19, this Jubilees 29 and 19, Isaac went up from the well of oath and dwelled in the tower of Abraham, his father, on the mountains of Hebron, right? So let's go look at this, see what these mountains of Hebron. Go to King James and go to Exodus chapter 3, right? Go to Exodus chapter 3, right? And it says in Exodus chapter 3, this is where Moses was at, in the burning bush. Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb, same place. So this mountain, mountain Horeb is where Abraham Tower is. Okay, let that front name. Okay, so let me get back over here. I'm in Jubilees, chapter 29, verse. That was the end of that chapter. Okay, I'm gonna pick it up in verse 30, chapter 30, Jubilees, and this is Melchizedek. This is another verse right here to identify Melchizedek. So Melchizedek means King of Peace, right? They want you to think Jesus is Melchizedek, but we're gonna see right here, verse 1. In the first year of the 6th week, this is Jacob. In the first year of the 6th week, he went up. This angel telling the story, right? Remember that. In the first year of the 6th week, he went up to Shalom. So Melchizedek means King of Shalom, right? So it says, in the first year of the 6th week, he went up to Shalom, to Salem, right? To eat to the east of Shechem in the 4th month, and he went in peace. So what do Melchizedek mean? King of Shalom. That means peace. Jerusalem means peace. Jerusalem means King of Peace. Shalom, King of Shalom. So here all this right here. In the first year of the 6th week, he went up to Shalom to eat to the east of Shechem in the 4th month, and he went up in peace. See that? So why they all going up to this mountain Horeb, brother? That's where Shem at. Shem is Melchizedek. That's why they going there. So anyway, Shechem, the son of Hamor, and the Hivite, the prince of the land, carried off Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, into the house, and he had sex with her and defiled her. And she was a little girl, a child of 12 years old. So we know now where all this child stuff coming from right here. So it says this man from Shechem took Jacob's daughter, only daughter, and defiled her, right? But let's look at what happened. And we're going to compare it to the day and see how off we are. So he says 2. He begged his father. So check it out. It's big. So he begged his father and his brothers that this man that raped her. That's what he did. He begged his father and his brother that he might be given him as a wife. So let me show you how ass backwards this is. So we know how you get a wife. When the Most High, when the Lord of Hosts took the rib out of Adam, made Eve, he brought Eve to Adam, and Adam made her his wife. He went into her, he took her, he made her his wife. So this dude here is doing everything backwards. He raped her first, now he wants his father and his brothers to go talk to the Israelite, to Jacob, to make her his wife, when he already made her his wife. Right? Verse 3. And Jacob and his sons were very angry because of the man. So this big, like I said, Dinah is an Israelite woman, right? Remember that. It's an Israelite woman. Verse 3. Jacob and his sons were very angry because of the men of Shechem, and they had defiled Dinah, their sister. They spoke to them while planning evil acts, and they dealt deceitfully with them, and they tricked them. Verse 4, here you go, right here. Simeon and Levi came unexpectedly to Shechem, and they executed judgment on all the men of Shechem, and killed all the men whom they found in it, and they did not leave a single one remaining in it. Check it out. And they killed all in a hand-to-hand battle because they had dishonored their sister. So there's a lot of stuff involved in this I want to shine light on. So the Most High said that we was going to go to a land that was not ours, right? And our women was going to, we're going to have wives, take wives, but they're going to be defiled in front of us, right? And we ain't going to be able to do shit. Same right, we see right here. We see how dangerous the Israelite men was right here, right? It says, verse 4, Simeon and Levi came unexpectedly to Shechem and executed judgment. See, that's what we do. That's what we did. It was taken away with the curses in Deuteronomy 28. Simeon and Levi came unexpectedly to Shechem, executed judgment on all the men of Shechem, killed all the men whom they found in it. They did not leave a single one remaining in it. They killed all. There's 2 boys, right? 2 of the sons of Jacob. They killed all in hand-to-hand battle. There's an angel telling the story now, not Peter and Paul. right? So hand-to-hand battle because they had dishonored their sister. So because they had dishonored an Israelite woman, we're gonna call it for what it is. See, now here you go. This the angel talking. Then he says, let it not again. Check it out. From this point on, what they did to Dana. Let it not again be done from now on that a daughter of Israel be defiled. Judgment is ordained in heaven. It's in heaven. Judgment is ordained in heaven against them, that they should destroy all the men of the Shechemites with the sword because they have committed shame in Israel. So my point is this: go to the transatlantic slave trade and go on the boat. How many Danas was on the boat? How many Danas was on the plantation? And there was nothing we could do about it. Okay? So 6, the Lord delivered them into the hands of the sons of Jacob, that they might exterminate them with the sword and execute judgment on them, that it might not again be done in Israel, that a virgin of Israel should be defiled. Okay? Now here we go right here. Verse 7. If there's any, check it out. This is where the drama come in at. This is how far we off. And this is how far they got us stole with the New Testament. Verse 7. If any man in Israel, check it out. If any man in Israel who wish to give his daughter or his sister to any man who is of the offspring of the Gentile, let that firmate. To the offspring of the Gentile, he shall surely die. So we dealing with the Israelite woman right now, the man. If he give his daughter to a Gentile man or allow his daughter to be married to a Gentile man, he must die. Like I said, angels, these angels talking. It's coming from the book that's in heaven. Let me go show it to you. We got some new people. So let me show you the book I'm talking about. So we in Daniel chapter 10, right? Like I said, I'm dealing with what the angel said, not Peter and Paul and all them, right? So it says, chapter 10, this Gabriel talking to Daniel in verse 19. And he said, oh man, this Gabriel talking to Daniel, Daniel, oh man, greatly beloved, fear not, peace be unto thee. Be strong, yea, be strong. And when he had spoken unto me, I was strengthened. And he said, let my Lord speak, for thou hast strengthened me. Then said he, knowest thou wherefore I come unto thee? And now I will return to fight with the prince of Persia. And when I am gone forth, lo, the prince of Greece shall come. So these fallen angels, one is over Persia and the other one over Greece. 21 is where I'm going. But Gabriel talking to Daniel, I will show thee that which is noted in the scriptures of truth. It's the book that these angels looking at in heaven. Scripture of truth. And there is none that holdeth with me in these things but Michael, your prince. So Gabriel and Michael, the only two looking at this book. They come down, tell the prophet, that's how the prophet able to prophesy. They're telling them what they looking at in the book that's in heaven. The scripture of truth. So now let's go back where I was at. I'm back over here in Jubilee. So he says, verse 8, do not let, okay, I'm going to go back up to 7. If there be any man in Israel who wishes to give his daughter or his sister to any man who is of the offspring of the Gentiles, he shall surely die. So let that firmate. Gentile, all of a sudden the Gentiles brought in the New Testament. But this was a law in the Old Testament, right here. They shall stone him, for he has committed shame in Israel. They shall burn, look at this. The man must die. Then look at this. They shall burn the woman with fire, because she has dishonored the name of the house of her father, and she shall be rooted out of Israel. So, like I said before, when you come over here and the men and the women, and you start talking about your Hebrew Israelites and all that, you better know what the deal is, because this is what we got to return back to. You can't come up with your own, what you're going to do in your own mind that you're going to do. I can do this. I can go get this man, I can go get that, man, I can go do this. No, he tells you right here, they shall stone him if he allowed a woman to do that, for she has committed shame in Israel, and they shall burn the woman with fire, because she has dishonored the name of the house of her father, and she shall be rooted out of Israel. This is what's coming. JC ain't coming. The Lord of hosts is the one that's coming. Okay? So then it says, do not let an adulteress or let no cleanliness be found in Israel throughout all the days of the generations of the earth. All the days of the generation of the earth. For Israel is holy to the Lord, and every man who has defiled it shall surely die. They shall stone him. Then here we go. This was big right here. For it has been ordained. Here you go. Back to the scripture of truth. It has been ordained and written in the heavenly tablets regarding all the offspring of Israel. He who defiles it shall surely die. He shall be killed by stoning. There is no limit of days. So it's killed in the New Testament. There is no limit of days for this law. There is no remission and no atonement. It ain't, you can't say, oh, that's what you believe, oh, this is what I believe. No, that ain't how it works. You can say that right now because we cast off. But when Israel line back up, when the real Redeemer is there and the laws and all this, the books back open, it ain't gonna work. Okay, so it says 11, Moses. So this was Moses right here, right? This was a big part here. Moses commanded the children of Israel. Check it out. Moses commanded the children of Israel and exhorted them not to give their daughters to the Gentiles, right? They don't have this in the New Testament, right? And not to take for their sons the daughters of the Gentiles. Okay? I hope you know what a Gentile is. So he says, and not to take the sons or their sons, any of their daughters for the Gentiles. For this is an abominable. This is abominable before the Lord. Okay? 12. This very big. It is because of this. Check it out. Moses, right? It is because of this that Moses talking. It is because of this that I have written all the deeds of the Shechemites, which they committed against Dana. They go back to the Israelite woman, to Dana, that they done against Dana, and placed them in the words of the law for you. So it's in the word of the law today for us because of what happened to Dana. See that? Moses wrote it in there. Now read it again. Moses saying, it is because of this I have written all these deeds of the Shechlemites, which they committed against Dana, and placed them in the words of the law for you. So what you ought to be doing, trying to find out what the hell Moses wrote this at. Okay, keep going. I have also written, see that? I have also written how the sons of Jacob spoke, saying, we will not, check it out, give our daughters to a man who is uncircumcised, for that is a reproach unto us. It is a reproach to Israel that anyone that takes the daughters of a Gentile, for this is unclean and abominable to Israel. Now here go to another warning. Israel will not be free. Check it out. This is where all drama coming in at. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. Israel will not be free from the uncleanliness if it has a wife of a daughter of a Gentile. So you catching hell all over the place. Come on, look at this. Israel will not be free from this uncleanliness if he has a wife of the daughters of the Gentiles, or has given any of his daughters to a man who is of the Gentiles. So if you just stood on the sideline and allowed your Israelite woman to marry a Gentile, your ass out. Okay? So anyway, 15. There will be a plague upon a plague. See that? Now here go the curses right here in our face. There will be plague upon plague, curse upon curse, and every judgment and plague and curse will come if if you do this thing, or if they ignore those who commit uncleanness, or defile the sanctuary of the Lord, or those who profane his holy name. If any of these happen, the whole nation, yeah, this is Deuteronomy 28. If any of these happen, the whole nation together will be judged for all their uncleanness and all the profanity of this man. I want to take one man to do this, but we know that we doing it right now wholesale. Like I said, we started out with Dana, one Israelite woman. By the time we get the transatlantic slave trade, it's wholesale. This is what a drum is right here. Where you got Negroes hollering, oh, I can do this, or you believe that. Well, this is what I believe. Come on. So 16, there will be no judging people by their position, and no receiving fruits or offering or burnt offerings or fat or the fragrance. That's in my eye. Okay, fragrance of a sweet odor from his hand. It will be unacceptable, and so warn every man and woman in Israel who defile the sanctuary. For this reason, here we go again. This Moses talking. 1 minute. Something got in my eye. Okay. Yeah. So it says, Moses talking. For this reason, I have commanded you, saying, give this testimony to Israel. Right. So do we have this? Do we have this testimony? No. Say, for this reason, I have commanded you, saying, give this testimony to Israel. See how the Shechlemites and their sons fared. See how they were delivered into the hands of 2 sons of Jacob, and they killed them under torture. It was counted. Check it out. What they done when they killed all these men, right? When they killed all these men, these Shechlemites, it was accounted to them for righteousness, and it is written down to them in righteousness. So it's written in the books in heaven for righteousness. Okay. 18. The offspring of Levi. Check it out. This is another mishaps. The offspring of Levi was chosen. Check it out. For the priesthood and to be Levites, that they might minister before the Lord as we do continuously. Levites and his sons will be blessed forever, right? For he was zealous to execute righteousness and judgment and vengeance on all those who arose against Israel. So now let's look at this. So this is why when we go back to the scriptures, because it is right here, Jubilees, right, which is Most High word, right? Go to Ezra right quick. When they came out of Babylon, after Cyrus came and the Most High Lord of hosts used Cyrus to deliver the Israelites out of Babylon. Let's look at it. So I'm in chapter 1, right? This is the prophecy. It's prophesied by Daniel. The book of Daniel goes before the book of Ezra, right? So Daniel prophesied that they was going to be in Daniel 9:25. They want you to think it's Yahushua, right? In Daniel 9:25, Jesus, that's prophesied about the Messiah that's going to come, right? But it says right here in Ezra chapter 1. Now, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation. Here go the commandment in Daniel 9:25. He made a proclamation, which is a commandment, through all his kingdom, put it in writing. Thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven, have given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he have charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem. So this Daniel 9:25 de facto, right? 3. Who is there among you of all his people as God be with him and let him come up to Jerusalem, which is in Judea, build the house of the Lord God of Israel. He is God, which is in Jerusalem. 4. Whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourned, let the men of his place help him with silver and with gold and with goods, with beasts, besides the free will offering for the house of God that is in Jerusalem. Right? 5. Now here we go right here. What I just read in Jubilees, what the angel told him. Let me read it again before I read this. I'm in Jubilees 30 and 18. The offspring of Levi were chosen for the priesthood. The offspring of Levi was chosen for the priesthood and to be Levites, that they might minister before the Lord as we do continuously. Levites and his sons will be blessed forever, for he was zealous to execute righteousness and judgment and vengeance on all those who arose out of Israel. So here they go. They coming out of Egypt. They come out of Babylon. He used Cyrus to get them out of Babylon. Verse 5. Then rose up the chief fathers of Judah and Benjamin and the priests. See that? And the Levites, with all them whose spirit God had raised to go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. Same thing's getting ready to happen. Everybody got to get in their lane. So he says, verse 5, then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, the priests and the Levites, with all them whose spirit God had raised to go up to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. So, like I said before, you got another book is hollering about this book of Jubilees ain't, it's not the word of God, but you're over in the New Testament. So we just saw right there, line upon line, precept upon precept, right here. This is why he chose the Levites. Let's go one more place. Go to Ezra chapter 10, I think it is. So it's right here in our face. So I'm in Ezra, right? Let's look at it again. Like I said, we see these lineages and we just skip over it. But Most High, the Lord host is doing something. Okay, it says, okay, I'm in chapter 8, verse 21. It says, this one Ezra showed up in Jerusalem. Then I proclaimed a fast there at the river Ava, that we might afflict ourselves before our God and seek him a right way for us, as for our little ones and for all our substance. For I was ashamed, right, to require of the king a band of soldiers and horsemen to help us against the enemies in the way, because we had spoken unto the king, saying, the hand of our God is upon all them for good that seek him, but his power and his wrath is against all them that forsake him. So we fasted and besought our God for this, and he was entreated of us, right? So they fasted, sought their God, then he was entreated of them. 24. Then I separated 12 of the chiefs of the priests. Did he get a name? Right? And I weighed unto them the silver and the gold and the offerings of the house of God, which the king and his counselors and his lords and all Israel there presented that offering. I even weighed unto their hand 650 talents of silver, silver vessels, 100 talents, gold, 100 talents, also 20 bases of gold of 1,000 drums, and 2 vessels of fine copper, precious as gold. And I said unto them, ye are holy unto the Lord. The vessels are holy also, and the silver and the gold are farewell offerings unto the Lord God of your fathers. Watch ye, keep them until ye weigh them before the chief of the priests and the Levites and the chief of the fathers of Israel at Jerusalem in the chambers of the house of the Lord. So It's not a coincidence when they go into Egypt, when they're in Babylon, and everywhere they go, when they come out of the captivity, God of Israel raised up the Levites because that's the order. He ain't just doing this on accident. We just read it over there in Jubilees. The angel told us that. Okay? So I'm back over here in Jubilees. Verse 19, it says, so they wrote a testimony in his favor of blessings and righteousness on the heavenly tablets in the presence of God of all. We remember the righteousness that the man fulfilled during his life throughout the years until 1,000 generations they were recorded. I will come to him and to his descendants after him, and he has been recorded on the heavenly tablets as a friend and a righteous man. It's talking about Abraham, right? 21. All this account I have written for you, and I have commanded you to tell the children of Israel so that they will not commit sin nor transgress the laws, nor break the covenant which has been ordained for them. They should fulfill it and be recorded as friends of Abraham. So my point is this, verse 21. All this account I have, Moses talking, I have written for you, and I have commanded you to tell the children of Israel, right? Tell the children of Israel, that's us, so that they will not commit sin, nor transgress the laws, nor break the covenant which I have been ordained for them. Now, here's my point right here. They shall fulfill it and be recorded as a friend of Abraham. So it ain't no one Jesus that's going to fulfill it. He says, they shall fulfill it and be recorded as Israel. So who is the Most High Son? Israel is his son. Hosea chapter 1, verse 11, chapter 11, verse 1 tell you, Israel was his son. When he was a child, I called my son out of Egypt. So Israel is the son. It's a witness right here. They shall fulfill it and be recorded as a friend of God. But if they transgress and work uncleanness in any way, they will be recorded on the heavenly tablets as an adversary for God. And they will be blotted out. That's what we have right now. Out of the book of life. Instead, they will be recorded in the book of those who be destroyed and with those who will be rooted out of the earth. So let's look at that again. Verse 22. If they transgress and work uncleanness in any way, they will be recorded on the heavenly tablets as an adversary of God. And they will be blotted out of the book of life. So I told you right here, I just read it in Daniel, the scriptures of truth is the book of life, right? But we got another book. Instead, they will be recorded in the book of those who will be destroyed. See that? And with those who will be rooted out of the earth. So you got to, do your homework. You in the book that's going to be rooted out, or you going to be in the book, or you in the book of life. Two baskets to feed, right? Okay, 23. On the day when the sons of Jacob killed the Shechems, it was written in the records in their favor in heaven that they had executed righteousness, uprightness, and vengeance on the sinners, and it was written for a blessing. They brought Dinah, their sister, out of the house of Shechem. They took everything that was in Shechem captive, and they took their sheep and their oxen and their donkeys and their wealth, right? And all their flocks, and brought them to Jacob, his father. He reproached them. Okay, so let me break this down right quick, so you get the understanding on it. So all the things that happened to us, transatlantic slave trade, all this stuff up to today, right? So you keep hearing people saying that we're going to be restored and they're going to go into captivity. Well, here goes your witness right here. So we see what they done to Dana, right? We're going to pick it up in Book of Jubilees, chapter 30, verse 24. So Jacob's sons, they brought Dana, their sister, out of the house of Shechem. So where we at? We over here with the Gentiles, right? Then it says they took everything that was in Shechem captive. That's what's getting ready to happen. They took their sheep and their oxen and their donkeys, right? And all their wealth and all their flocks and brought them to Jacob their father. That's what's getting ready to happen. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm over here in the King James. I read this all the time. Isaiah chapter 60. Okay, so he was delivered over here for the curses to the Gentiles for 2,000 years, at least 2,000. So it says, Isaiah chapter 60, right? It says, this is where we at. The future glory of Zion. Arise, 60 and 1. Isaiah, arise and shine, for thy light is come. The glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles, see that? We ain't gonna fumble with it. The Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings to the brightness of thy glory. Then he says, lift up thine eyes round about and see. All they gather themselves together, they come to thee. Thy sons shall come from afar, and thy daughters shall be nursed upon thy side. Now here we go. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged. Now here you go. The abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. See that? Then you even get specific. Verse 6. The multitude of camels shall cover thee. The drummery of Midian and Ephah, all they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth praises of the Lord. So the exact same thing that happened with Dana and what happened with what the Israelites did, then they possessed all their possessions and they became captives. That's the exact same thing getting ready to happen. It ain't an accident. It was already ordained back here in the book of Jubilee, right? That they took away from us. So let's look at it. Got two more verses, and I'll open it up for some questions. So it says, verse 25 of chapter 30 of Jubilees, he reproached them because they had put the city to the sword. Well, this is Jacob. He's scared now because his two sons that killed one of the nations of the Canaanites, right? There's a whole bunch of Canaanites. So they killed this one race. So now he's afraid the rest of them are going to come to fight them. But this is my point. This part of what's really getting ready to happen that nobody seems to understand. He says in verse 25, he reproached them because they had put the city of to the sword, for he feared those who dwelt in the land, the Canaanites and the Perizzites was going to come, right? But check it out, the Lord of hosts. Not Yahweh, but the Lord of hosts. Verse 26, the dread of the Lord was on all the cities that are near Shechem. They did not fight or chase any of the sons of Jacob, for the terror have fallen on them. See that? So that's same thing when we were sitting there with our hands behind our back and legs crossed and they were raping our women. He had already told us we weren't going to have no fight in us. He took the fight out of us. So right here, when Israel did their thing, the Most High put a fear on all the rest of the nations around. Hand of the Lord, like I said. That's what nobody is considering. They're looking at everything from a ignorant ass perspective and not in the scriptures, but yeah, he put the fear on them. Like I said, what he did to the Pharaoh. He told the Pharaoh told Moses to go down to the Red Sea. I'm going to get the Pharaoh. And not only did he get the Pharaoh, he got his whole army and brought him down to the Red Sea and drowned him. Same thing right here. When they killed all the men of Shechem, then he turned around and put a fear on all the rest of them. Giants. He put fear in their heart. They didn't do nothing. That's what's getting ready to happen. You already see Israel rising. It's gonna come a time when he's gonna put the fear on them. They're gonna be like tits on a bullhog. Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Shalom, everyone. Jubilees, when you read chapter 29, goes
Right.
more into depth on the judgment. If what will happen if you do marry them versus what's in Deuteronomy chapter 7. And even in Genesis 34, where it speaks about what happened to Dana when she was defiled, it doesn't say that about. That was verse 7. And if there is any man who wisheth in Israel to give his daughter or his sister to any man who is of the seed of the Gentiles, he shall surely die. And they shall stone him with stones, for he hath wrought shame in Israel. And they shall burn the woman with fire, because she hath dishonored the name of the house of Israel. So,
Right.
yeah, Jubilees
That's
goes
written
into.
in the tablets in
Mm-hmm,
heaven.
mm-hmm.
That's what you gotta let. That's it wasn't written down here. It was written in heaven. But just that's supposed to be done. We got away from
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
So you can't refer to the New Testament saying we
No.
are one. No, no.
Right. Yeah. We don't work. That's a misnomer. Right.
Yes,
So
sir.
right. It says the Book of Enoch, Jubilees, and Joshua collection is that a good? Yeah, that's the best one you can get. All three of those books, because those where all the meat is at. In order for you to understand the Old Testament, you got to go back and read these books right here: Enoch, Jubilees, and Joshua. And then Joshua is spelled Jasher, not P, not the P. But so when you read those books, they fill in the blanks for you. So sooner you get that book, the better off you are. So you have something else? Somebody have anything else?
The channel that you were speaking of about the video, Brother Leonard, is
Right,
Life Travel Word. Was that the one?
right. I'm thinking on the name of that video was I can't think of the name of it, but it had to do with the Amorites and how all that began. It's got Amorite in the title. Yeah. So anybody else have anything before we go? Questions, comments? So if you want to come on the class, you can and you want to be able to come up on the screen, you can call and we'll we can send you a link to come in on the class. The number is 337-802-0889. Then we can send you the link if you're interested. So with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom, shalom, and another shalom. I'll see y'all tomorrow for men's advanced Bible study on Clubhouse.
Shalom, everyone.